Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist, and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. And today I'm going to guide you through a gentle 10-minute Pilates routine in laying. I'll be using my exercise mat with a folded blanket there to give me some support under my neck. You might even do this laying on your bed. The first 3 of the 5 techniques will be laying on my back, and the last 2 will be on my tummy, at which point you might even use a couple of cushions or even some pillows to support underneath your hips. So I'll guide you through it. So bring yourself into laying down on your back. I'm looking for my feet to stay flat on the mat. I want a small gap between my feet and my knees. And I'm looking for my shoulder blades to be nice and wide, so the shoulder blades are resting on the mat there. And before we begin our first exercise, let's just have a moment to practice centering the pelvis. So pop your hands so they're making a triangle over the belly button. And if we just push the small of our back into the mat and then arch away from the mat, we're actually moving our pelvis through its available range. We're going to slowly do less and less of a movement until we stop in that mid position. So we know that if we start in this position for all of our exercises, we're not going to put any undue stress and strain on any bit of our spine in particular. Hands over your belly button and just either side. And what we can do if we cough, we start to use some of the muscles that we often call our core. So throughout each of the exercises, I'll be telling you to engage your core, and what I'm referring to is just drawing that muscle in slightly, a bit like you're trying to do up a tight pair of trousers. So we're drawing that belly button down towards the mat slightly, but you should be able to breathe, and this upper bit should remain relaxed throughout. So keeping that core muscle engaged. Our first exercise is the single leg stretch. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring our leg out and away from us as we keep that muscle engaged, and then back in again. And we'll do the same on the opposite leg. So again, drawing that tummy muscle in, sliding that leg out and away from you, and then back in again. Well, let's keep on going, and we could even breathe out as we do the leg going out. So here we go. And breathing back in again. And the same again, engage the core. And keep on going. That's great. So for our next exercise, we're going to do one called hip circling. So what I'll do, again, engaging those muscles around our tummy, I'm going to bring one of my legs up towards the ceiling, but the knee's going to stay at a right angle. So it's a bit like I'm resting on a coffee table. Then remembering which direction, I'm going to imagine that there's a small paintbrush on my knee, drawing some circles there. It's a small and controlled movement, and I'm aiming for about 5 circles in one direction. And then bring the leg down again, and whichever direction you did for the first set, let's do the same but the opposite direction. So again, engage the core, bring that leg up, that tabletop position, and making those small circles in the opposite direction. Hopefully you can feel that working some of your tummy muscles, and it's all about control there. And when you've done about 5 circles, bring that leg down, and let's do the same on the opposite side. So again, engage that tummy, bring your leg up into tabletop, and again making 5 small circles in one direction. and then back down again, And the same in the opposite direction. So engage the core, up we go. And back down again. So for our next exercise, we're going to do one called the hip twist level 2. So we're going to bring our feet in so they touch one another at the midline, and the same with our knees. Give yourself a bit more space with the hands for this one. I'm going to engage my tummy muscle, and on an outward breath, I'm going to roll the knees over to one side. Now you might not go very far with this one, but I'm going to go until I feel the stretch there. But I keep that core muscle engaged, and you should actually feel that in your obliques. And then back to the start position, and the same to the opposite side. So again, I engage the core, and on an outward breath, and notice that my bottom is coming up away from the mat, but my shoulders remain where they are, and back in again. And we'll keep on going to each side. We'll do a few more. And for the next 4 exercises, we're going to be laying on our tummy, and this is where those cushions might come in handy. So it might be that you just lay on your front with some support underneath you, with your hands either at your side or up by your forehead. If you don't find that very comfortable though, grab some pillows or some cushions and pop them underneath your hips. So for swimming legs, what we're aiming to try and do is keep the back and the hips nice and level, so they're not going to move. Draw that tummy button in again, engage in that core, and you might even encourage that to work further by clenching your bottom muscles. The aim of swimming legs is to try and lift one of those legs just a few millimeters off of the mat, and then back down again, and then the same on the opposite side. So engage that core. We do that small leg lift and down again. We can even synchronize it with our breathing. So as we lift up, breathe out, breathing in as you return, and again. So for the next exercise, we're going to do one called hundreds. I'm going to bring myself back into resting on my tummy there. If you want to have a wriggle around or reposition yourself, you're welcome to. I'm going to let my arms rest down by my sides with the palms facing towards the ceiling. And what I'm going to try and do with this position, the easier version is just to try and lift up those shoulder blades. So you're pinching between the shoulder blades. The slightly more challenging version is to lift up the whole of the arm there and to hold and sustain that, making a few gentle oscillations there, and then back down again. So let's do that again. So we can either lift up just the shoulder blades or maybe even the whole arm and do some small oscillations like you're trying to splash your hands in 2 puddles either side of you, and then back down again and again. And relax. And there we go. So that was a 10-minute Gentle Pilates routine in laying. hopefully you found it was okay. If you found it was a bit much, there are gentler versions. Remember, you don't have to complete the whole workout. It might even be that you just do a few of each of the exercises and build up slowly. So thanks for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.